Chapter 512, First on the Heaven Board, Zhang Ruochen. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. I don't need you to teach me martial arts. Bishui Cheng was filled with surging bloodlust as he snorted coldly. He spread his arms wide and genuine chi emanated from his armor, becoming waves of water. It made sounds like waves slapping against the rocks on shore. Splash! He spread out his 5 fingers and, with water waves trailing from them, he struck toward Zhang Ruochen. Zhang Ruochen's right foot stepped back as he dodged Bishui Cheng's handprint. At the same time, Zhang Ruochen's right hand pressed down on the hilt of his sword. With the sword still in the scabbard, he held it like a battle club and swung down toward Bishui Cheng's abdomen. The inscription of the Bishui holy armor emerged and interwove into an array pattern. As Zhang Ruochen's attack made contact, it was blocked by the array. The sword scabbard did not land on Bishui Cheng's body, however, the power behind it pushed Bishui Cheng back over 10 meters. He almost fell off the Colosseum again. Just as Bishui Cheng was congratulating himself, Zhang Ruochen had already charged in front of him and jumped up, striking his head. Even though the Bishui holy armor blocked Zhang Ruochen's palm strength, Bishui Cheng still found it difficult to endure wave of power. His legs went soft, and he knelt on the Colosseum with a heavy thud. Zhang Ruochen swung out with the sword scabbard again and struck Bishui Cheng's neck. Like strong wind violently sweeping fallen leaves, Bishui Cheng was sent flying out, landing outside the Colosseum. Bang! This time, Bishui Cheng couldn't climb back up. The earlier strike that Zhang Ruochen had landed on his head had already stunned him. The truth was, even without wearing the Bishui holy armor, Bishui Cheng was not weak. At least, compared with Page who ranked 41st in the Heaven Board, Bishui Cheng was more powerful. He could be considered a top master in the Heaven realm. However, the person he had met was Zhang Ruochen. Whether in speed, strength, or martial arts power, Zhang Ruochen surpassed him. It was not a difficult thing for Zhang Ruochen to defeat him. After Bishui Cheng was knocked off the battle stage, an elder from the Bishui family immediately ran over and picked him up from the ground. The elder glanced toward the Colosseum with grateful eyes and said, "Many thanks." He knew very well that Zhang Ruochen had already shown mercy. The elder then immediately took Bishui Cheng and left the heavenly ring. Yi looked in the direction that the elder of the Bishui family had gone and smiled to himself. The Bishui holy armor is a pretty good treasure. Bishui Cheng didn't even apply 1,000th of its power. What a waste. Looks like I will have to find time and go to the Bishui family to borrow it and give it a try. Whoosh! Zhang Ruochen sent out a streak of ice-cold genuine chi from the palm of his hand. He froze the water vapor in the air and sealed Huang Shenyi's body in ice. Taking the body, Zhang Ruochen walked down from the heavenly ring and said, "Yi, I am going to take Huang Shenyi's body. Rest assured that I will bury him well." Wait. Yi came forward and stopped Zhang Ruochen as he was walking off the Colosseum. With one hand holding the frozen body and the other resting on the hilt of his sword, Zhang Ruochen asked, "Do you want to fight me?" Yi shook his head and laughed. "We will eventually fight again, but not right now. How about we make a deal instead?" "What deal?" Zhang Ruochen said. "You can take Huang Shenyi's body and the 6-hilt divine sword, I won't stop you. However, you've already taken away one emissary, you can't take away a second one, right?" Yi's gaze turned toward the orange star emissary and revealed a glimmer of a smile. Zhang Ruochen also turned to look at the orange star emissary. "You want me to let her go? But she is now my captive." Yi smiled and said, "Zhang Ruochen, one cannot be too greedy. Of the 2 emissaries, you can only take one with you. Whether the live emissary or the dead emissary, you can choose." "Am I not being kind enough?" Zhang Ruochen's expression did not change. "What if I take both of them?" Yi's smile vanished and his eyes became a bit colder. He looked toward the Colosseum of the Martial Market. "This is the Colosseum of the Martial Market, the Martial Market Bank. There are countless masters here. Of course, I can't fight with you. However, I remember the 3-year engagement between you and the Commandery Princess Yanchen is about to draw to a close, right? You wouldn't want the happy event to become a funeral?" A streak of coldness flashed through Zhang Ruochen's eyes. "Are you threatening me?" Swoosh, swoosh. Sensing the murderous intent from Zhang Ruochen's body, The cyan-robed emissary and the green-robed emissary immediately flew out from behind Yi to stand on either side of him, so they could protect him in the middle. The cyan-robed emissary and the green-robed emissary were both top masters in the fish-dragon realm, one male and one female. Supernatural aura of power emanated from their bodies as if they were about to strike out and crush Zhang Ruochen. Cyan-robed and green-robed emissary, do not be so rude. This is the Myriad Chaos Mountain. We have to do things according to the rules. How could we use martial arts to resolve it? Yi stretched out a hand, gesturing to the cyan-robed and the green-robed emissaries to back down. Yi's gaze remained fixed on Zhang Ruochen. Zhang Ruochen, let me kindly remind you that one person's strength, no matter how powerful, is always limited. In front of the entire black market, your power is like a speck of dust, not worth mentioning at all. I hope you will consider carefully before making a decision. There is no need to consider, I have already made my choice. I am taking both emissaries. At the same time, I will warn you that if you dare to bring harm to anyone around me, I will kill you myself. Zhang Ruochen's tone was very calm but his eyes were very sharp. It gave one a sense of unswerving persistence. Yi's hands clenched tightly. He was furious, but he managed to hold back the anger in his heart as he waved his hand and said, "Very well, let's go." Yi left the Colosseum of the Martial Market and all the evil warriors from the black market followed him out. Staring at Yi's retreating figure, Zhang Ruochen's gaze was rather grim. Yi was a man with many tricks up his sleeve. As long as he was alive, he would always be a threat. However, it was not an easy thing to get rid of Yi. There was always a large number of warriors from the black market around him. Even the upper echelons of the martial market bank wanted to kill him but still had not succeeded. How could Zhang Ruochen do it? Swish! A powerful light emanated from the heaven board's stone tablet. The words Zhang Ruochen disappeared from it. A moment later, the words Zhang Ruochen reappeared, this time on the top of the heaven board, becoming the first name on it. A chain of numbers appeared behind his name: military merit, 12,417,000. First place on the heaven board meant one had success and recognition. One would be known as the invincible lord of battle in the same realm. It was expected that Zhang Ruochen's name would soon spread all over Kunlun's field. He would become the role model for many hot-blooded young men, and become an object of worship and adoration for countless young women. Alxinian was the first to come over, stopping below the heavenly ring. Greeting Zhang Ruochen, she said with admiration, "Group leader, you're now ranked first on the heaven board. Furthermore, you've also killed the yellow god emissary of the Black Market Excellence Hall. When you return to the Saint Academy, you will certainly receive a generous reward." Huang Yanjun, Duan Mook Singerling, Liu Shuaihan, and all the other young talents from the East Region Saint Mansions also came forward to congratulate Zhang Ruochen. Reaching the top of the heaven board was very remarkable. In the East Region Saint Mansions, young disciples who were able to enter the top 10 of the heaven board would immediately be singled out and nurtured. They could even become candidates for the future patriarch of the family clan. Becoming first on the heaven board was as difficult as climbing to heaven. For the East Region Saint Mansions, the last time someone reached the top of the heaven board was 600 years ago. Huang Yanjun belonged to a branch of the East Region Saint Mansions. Since Zhang Ruochen was her fiancé, then naturally, he was also a member. Brother Zhang, you don't have to worry about Yi's threat. Your wedding to my cousin, Yanjun, will certainly take place in the East Region Saint Mansions. Even if you lend him courage, he won't dare to make trouble. Chen Tanren slapped his chest and spoke confidently. Chen Tanzu also spoke up. Exactly. Although the black market is powerful, the Chen family is not weak. Even if a saint from the black market came to cause trouble, we promise that he will not leave alive. Zhang Ruochen's expression remained serious as he said, "Let's go back first, and then discuss." Slowly, everyone from the East Region Saint Mansions, together with Huang Yanjun, Duan Mook Singerling, Alxinian, and Liu Shuaihan from the Saint Academy, was temporarily living in the 10,000 Fields Tavern. The 10,000 Fields Tavern was a giant building that took up a vast expanse of land. Apart from the military camps, soldiers of primitive world who came to the Myriad Chaos Mountain could only stay here. Of course, It was much more comfortable to live at the tavern than in a military camp. At present, Zhang Ruochen was sitting in Duan Muxingling's room with his chin on his hand. His gaze was distant as he pondered about things. Duan Muxingling stood below an ancient bronze lamp. Under the light, her skin appeared radiant and white, her features were clear, and she looked extraordinarily beautiful. Two of her fingers were also on her chin, mimicking Zhang Ruochen's appearance. In her beautiful eyes, there was a charming smile as she said, "Zhang Ruochen, you've been alone with me in my room for so long, are you not afraid that Sister Chen will get jealous? What exactly is the matter? Speak quickly. You may not be in a hurry, but I am." Zhang Ruochen seemed to have finally figured something out. He raised his head and said, "Senior Sister Apprentice Duan Mu, I want to ask you to help me with something." Duan Muxingling seemed startled before letting out a laugh. "Did I hear correctly? You are asking me to help you? You are the first on the heaven board. Zhang Ruochen, you are asking me, a weak woman, to help you. Are you not afraid of being laughed at if this gets out? Will you help me or not?" Zhang Ruochen solemnly asked. "I will." Duan Muxingling replied without any hesitation. She knew that if it wasn't something truly important, Zhang Ruochen would not ask for her help.